Hello and welcome to this Swift tutorial. In this video we are going to take a look at static table view cells. So most often, or in all of the previous videos that I have on this channel, I have only showed you how to work with dynamic table view cells. So how you can take some data from, for example, an array and display it in a list form or do whatever. But in this video, we're going to take a look at how you can use static cells. And we're going to show you, or I'm going to show you a practical example of how you can make a settings menu with static table view cells. Of course, you can use it for a whole bunch of things. But in this video, we're going to be concerned with building a nice looking settings menu. So we start by creating a new Xcode project. And I'm going to make this a single view application and call it static cells. Make sure that the language is set to Swift, then we can click next, and I'm just going to save it on my desktop. Then I'm going to put this in full screen, and we are just going to concern us with the main.storyboard in this video. So just head over there, and we are going to start by deleting this one, the whole view controller, and we are going to drag in a table view controller. And the way we do this, the way we make the change from having dynamic table view cells to having static table view cells is very, very simple. We simply select our table view, and then we, instead of having dynamic prototype cells, we have static cells. The only thing that we're doing here is by saying dynamic cells, we're actually saying that the table view and how it looks is predicated on which code we are running, what the commands we're feeding it. When we change it to static cells, we're actually saying that the way that the table view should look at runtime is exactly the same as how we see it when we're laying it out in our storyboard. So this is exactly how it's going to look when we run the application. So let's select our table view, and we have static cells. And here you can see we can change the amount of sections that we have. So we can have 3 sections, 4 sections, how many sections we want. But right now I am going to, 4 sections is more than enough for me. So I'm going to get my iPhone 7 simulator and I'm going to launch it. And let's just take a look at how it looks right now with us simply having changed it from dynamic to static cells and added 4 sections to it. And it's pretty black, and that's because I need to make this my initial view controller. Make sure that you also set it to your initial view controller, which simply means this is the view controller that is the first view controller to display when the user launches the app. So here is our table view. As you can see, we have section 1, section 2, section 3, section 3. Yeah, we have a lot of sections. We have 4 sections. And as you can see, you can now lay out these sections however you want to. But as I said at the beginning of this video, I'm going to show you how to make a settings menu. Because I see a lot of apps that have simply taken a normal view controller. You don't have to do this. I'm just displaying what I have been seeing a lot of. And then you are going to make a settings menu, and then they drag in a label and they drag in a slider. And you know, everything kind of looks like this. There's a lot of elements that are just floating around like this, and they can set it up. The user can use this in order to set up their app. It's awesome, it's functional, or it isn't awesome, but it's functional. But now I'm going to show you how to make this awesome. And this is with a static table view cell. So let's say that we have different types of settings, and one of them is our audio settings. So I can now select a section by highlighting it, making it blue. It will highlight itself. And then I'm going to say audio settings. And here I can customize how many rows I want. I want 3 rows for now. And the header is going to be audio settings. And as you can see, it now changes the header. So now I'm going to drag in a label, which I'm going to place right here. And I'm going to name this mute. And I'm going to align it nicely, and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to place some constraints just like this. Keep your aspect, and then I'm going to paste in another label. See, I'm going to drag it in, I'm going to place it right here, and I'm going to say audio volume. And then I'm going to adjust it nicely like I did with the other one. Place some constraints like this. Keep your aspect. There we go. And now I'm going to drag in my controls. So for example, I want a switch in order for the user to decide if he wants to mute the app or not. So I'm going to place that one there. And I'm going to place some constraints again and keep your aspect. And then I'm going to drag in a slider. Now I'm not going to add any function to these elements. I'm just showing you how I would go about, or one of the ways to go about setting up a settings menu. And then I can add some constraints here as well. And as you can see, the beauty with static cells is that you know exactly how the table view is going to look when it launches, when the app launches. So this is how the app is going to look when it launches, exactly like this. We're going to have 4 sections and those amounts of static cells. So if I now launch it, this should be what I see. And the awesomeness here is that it's a scroll view, or it's a table view with a scroll view. So instead of cramming everything on one view controller, you can actually put many setting controls and the user will be able to scroll through them. So as you can see, this looks much more cleaner than cramming everything into one table view. So we now have our section with audio settings. We can mute it, we can change the volume. And then for example, if we wanted a general settings, we can do that here. We just highlight the section. Let's see, there we go. Let's see if I'm able to do this. Let's select section 3. I'm going to say general settings, and then I can have here purchase settings. So all types of settings, and you can group them together, and by giving them distinctive headers and adding nice controls to each section, you can make your settings page very structured and very give your user a great overview over your settings, or what the user can do, how he can interact settings wise with your app. So let's take a look at it one more time here. I have my audio settings, I have my general settings, I have my purchase settings, and I'm laying this out manually. I'm not letting my code interfere with this. I'm setting the agenda. I'm deciding how my table view should look with static cells. I can customize them. I can add sections. I can add all types of elements. And that's what makes static cells very great, because you can build, as I said, for example, a settings page and make it look very clean and structured. So this is how you go about using static cells. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you click the subscribe button so that you stay tuned for future videos. Other than that, thank you for watching.